Hello there, and welcome to the Stay Off My Lawn podcast, where we'll have a little fun, lots of laughs, and discussions on the common sense that needs to be applied to a lot of today's world news issues. And now, the disclaimer. Stay Off My Lawn is not intended as legal, medical, or financial advice. Void where prohibited. No purchase necessary to win. Open to legal U.S. residents 18 or over in the contiguous 48 states. Any resemblance to anyone living or deceased is purely coincidental. Actual price may vary. Only use as directed. Not a member of FDIC. And now, here are your hosts, Mike and Richard.
Thought of a few more we should add on there. See website for details. Or not available in Alaska, Hawaii, or Puerto Rico.
or Washington was always one that was never included, and I think still isn't. Yeah, it's always Washington.
Nobody listens to us in Washington. So.
Well, Eastern Washington, they might.
Maybe. Speaking of the Pacific Northwest, what's your air quality?
Oh, yes. Well, we have newsflash.
We need a breaking news thing. Yeah, we do.
And I've got my newsflash machine with me that has all the info on it. We have forest fires. I know everybody across the nation's been hearing about the Canadian with all the smoke coming from that. Oh dear. Well, it's a lot closer to me than Canada stuff was to New York City. Currently in Oregon, total number of acres burned is over 1 million acres in just over a week. It has been nasty. They don't manage their forests well over there. They don't clean things. We want them to be natural. Shataya. We are. Oh, please.
All the things we've learned over the years about
managing forests. Yeah. We want it to just be natural. Well, it naturally burns quite well. And in case you're wondering, somebody said about, no, Mother Nature set a ton of fires. Last week we had storms come over that are, if folks haven't heard of it, dry lightning. Big storm, you've got all kinds of thunder and lightning, and the rain goes, there you go, there's your rain. All it does is make a few mud balls on the car, and that blows up all the dust, and then here you go. So yeah, it's dry lightning, and it started a ton of different fires. They've got now somewhere between 34 and 36 fires. A couple of them have converged on each other. And our air quality, I looked that up this morning just before we started. Yesterday was right at 300. Oh, today's way down. It's only like 260. Yeah.
Still shouldn't be out there running around too much.
No, I was out mowing and doing stuff. So if you hear me going a lot today, it's because I wasn't out learning to smoke again like I used to do. Yeah, it's just nasty. Your eyes water, and I'm just dumb enough. I used to run routes and this stuff, so it's like, I go out. Getting older and the lungs don't like that.
Oh, when you're younger, you didn't have a choice anyway. I mean, you go to work. I mean, it doesn't matter.
So yeah, we've got one fire is less than an hour from us. It's probably somewhere around that area. It's close to Baker City, Oregon, which is only about 80 miles or so away. So a little over an hour from us in that area somewhere. And they shut the freeway down yesterday between there and Baker City because the smoke was so dense and so bad you couldn't even see driving through it. So they shut down essentially about 60, 70 miles worth of freeway. Just that they do it in the wintertime because the snowstorms and ice and stuff through there just gets really bad sometimes in the winter. Well, this time they shut it down because you couldn't see past the hood of your car. They were showing some video, and it was nasty. So, yeah, you talk about the Canadian fires and the smoke. We got Oregon, and it's a direct west wind. And where'd you go? Did you go check the mail? I can't find the box.
And I was surprised that with the Canadian fires that we didn't get anything here. Because as we were talking off the air, as I remember Mount St. Helens when that went off, and when we got soot down in Southwest Florida, I remember that, I don't know, remember the air quality being bad or whatever it might have been, but I just remember there was like stuff on your vehicle it was strange.
We got ash on things here right now. So yeah, it is strange. I was in Oregon at the time, headed to Eastern Washington I was taking care of food processing plants and things with their cleaning chemicals and all that kind of stuff. And you had to drive really careful. They cleaned off the freeway and tried to blow it all off as best as they could. They recommended you not drive through the stuff because it was extremely superfine pumice that your air cleaner would suck that stuff in and just chew an engine up in nothing flat. So it was wicked stuff. Oh, another piece of information I just found. Aren't you glad I've got up my little special device that you can look all kinds of stuff up on? Anyway, they say the pace of this historical comparison, this puts 2026 as the second highest number of burned acres by late July in recorded state history.
That's because they don't do controlled burns anymore.
Yeah, we don't want to do that. We want it to all be natural. Yeah, it's naturally just like striking a match.
They're afraid that some frog or a type of squirrel is going to...
Or a spotted owl. That's the big one in Oregon.
Forgot about that.
Yeah. So anyhow, that's what's happening in my neck of the woods. Back to you, Mike.
Well, thanks for that update, Richard.
Did you even get in what today is and all that?
I did not. Today is, let me see here. And I wasn't.
Oh no. Yeah.
All right, it's enough of that.
I've been celebrating enough. Moving on.
Richard turned 70 years old today. So
that's right. It's a brand shiny new decade for me to wear out again.
Not so shiny. There's a lot of soot involved in it right now.
Yes, there is. Oh, well. For my birthday dinner, I want ribs, so we're going to have to go to the store because the ones we have are in the freezer, and I forgot to get them out yesterday.
Oh, no.
Oh, well.
A big holidays like Richard's birthday, normally Kroger will have like ribs that they cook out in front. Just as you drive by, it wafts into your car, and you're like going, oh, I want ribs. So it's like, in big holidays, normally the 4th of July, Memorial Day, Labor Day, Richard's birthday, they always do that. So, I'm going to go pick mine up later. But of course, hey, I guess we have some news stories we ought to get to.
Yeah, so it is July 28th, huh? Okay.
Yes, it is. Oh, that's right. Welcome to this week's episode of Stay Off My Lawn.
We are nothing but professionals.
That's right.
Mostly nothing but.
It's July 28th, Richard's birthday, 2026, and this is episode 173.
Oof, we are moving along.
We are 3.5 years. We've been at this thing.
People go, wow, you guys have been doing that a lot. Yeah, and 130 countries that we're very proud of, and we love it when you folks are telling your friends to, hey, go check out the two weirdos.
That's right. That's right.
We try to laugh a lot and have fun, people.
You should connect with us. We've got a few ways to do that. You can go to facebook.com/stayoffmylawnpodcast. As a matter of fact, I've got something. I'll refer to that later too. But our X account is x.com/stayoffmylawn10. YouTube is youtube.com/stayoffmylawn. And of course on Instagram.com/stayoffmylawnpodcast. And I think on Rumble, if you just search for Stay Off My Lawn, I don't remember I don't think you can make those particular to the name of your show. It has some kind of like long thing, but anyway, we're on Rumble too. Most of the most famous fights I've ever seen on TV have been like the Thriller in Manila and the Rumble in the Jungle, and those were two of the bigger ones when I was younger. Of course, that was Muhammad Ali fights and everything. But I think right up there, the ones I've seen is between Senator Rand Paul.
I can't hardly wait.
And little Anthony Fauci. And so it looks like Wednesday we're going to be in for another treat when Fauci gets in front of the Senate. It's going to be...
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
I am excited already. So Marie Bartiromo asked Senator Rand Paul the other day about what his training routine has been like, getting ready for this fight and getting back in the ring. And anyway, here's what the senator had to say.
So you've been pressing for answers since 2020, and I want to get your take on what you think you can get out of Fauci during this testimony. We know what Tulsi Gabbard said, that U.S.-funded research at the Wuhan Institute of Virology contributed to the circumstances that led to COVID-19, and Fauci misled the country, the administration, and the world about his role in it. What are you expecting at this hearing?
You know, I expect he will not tell the truth. I expect him to dissemble. I expect him to filibuster, but I don't expect him to be honest. He has not been honest in the last 6 years. But we have the evidence now that he destroyed records, that he encouraged others to destroy records. We have evidence and the opinion of many of the people who worked around with him that the research that was funded in China and Wuhan was dangerous, gain-of-function research, and that this was perhaps the worst public health decision made in our lifetime, maybe in history, to fund this research in a totalitarian country, an opaque country with a less than safe lab and very, very dangerous research. So this was a terrible decision. And we know it was made consciously because Fauci has told us repeatedly that he supports this research, even if an accident should happen, even if a pandemic should occur.
I just remember him going, "You don't know what you're talking about."
Yeah, and he's a doctor, and he's gone through med school. I think he's just an eye doctor or something, but he still had to go through med school to be an eye doctor.
Dentist or whatever he is. But one way or the other, he understands things much better than the average bloke walking down the street and asked about. So, but the thing was, this was taxpayer money going to gain of function stuff in a lab, just like Dr. Rand Paul just said. It's like, this is stuff that was in a lab that it was not secure. It was sloppy, and he tried to play it off like it was a bat and a pangolin, and it's like, goodness gracious. And he can't plead the fifth on Wednesday. That was another point that was made on the radio yesterday, because he's already received the pardon, so he can't. Well,
that's sketchy at best. That is they are still looking into that. A lot of those pardons that they gave out are auto pen pardons.
It is. But as it stands right now, that pardon is in place. And I don't believe, now he'll probably try, but I don't believe he can really plead the fifth because he's not avoiding prosecution. So, I mean, and maybe that changes. And if it does, maybe whatever he says during his testimony tomorrow won't be allowed because of that supposition. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. There's a lot of legal mumbo jumbo you gotta work out with all that.
That's above our pay grade. We're not legal mumbo jumbos.
No,
it's just there's a lot of stuff that's like.
I'm barely the run-of-the-mill mumbo jumbo is what I am. But
I told the wife yesterday, "Ooh, I got to get some popcorn made because it's going to be, come on, find an opening anywhere, find an opening."
Let's get ready to rumble. Anyway, the day before yesterday, Senator Paul released 1,100 pages of Fauci's diary. Now, let me ask you this: do you keep a diary?
No, I've never kept a journal.
Never. I mean, what kind of testosterone-laden man keeps a diary? I mean, even, like you said, even calls it a diary.
Yes.
I mean, if you're maybe in the middle of something and you want to keep track of things, and like maybe you're going to write an autobiography eventually, and you want to make sure that your facts are straight. Okay, I'll give you that. I was talking to my daughter-in-law about that this morning. We were both like rolling our eyes so much that it almost hurt our brains. But anyway, he wrote all this stuff during the height of COVID, 1,100 pages, and
it was terrible because you're right. He was calling it Dear Diary. What? Who puts that in? It's like, so Margie said that Bobby said that Billy really liked what Jane said, that you're so cool. It's like, what? What in the? I mean, it was virtually that. He just was so happy that he was thought of as being cool, and he was sexier than
the second entry started. Dear Diary. I'm like,
Oh,
Man, alive. But if you read through some of this, and I, of course, did not read all 1,100 pages, but some of it was absolutely comical. I mean, this guy, he is completely who I thought he was when I first saw him get up on stage, and it's like he loved that attention. You could tell he was basking in the attention. He just absolutely loved it.
well, and he didn't like to be questioned. That's why him and Paul would go round.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding. Round number 3. And they're in the white trunks weighing in at 15 pounds.
Well, he's not used to being questioned. I mean, because
No.
he's been the authority. Everybody just kind of like, whatever, laid their lab coats at his feet and just said, you're our narcissistic little man we're going to listen to. And but some excerpts from Buck Sexton. Buck Sexton, if you're not familiar with him, he does a great Fauci impression, and he read some of these excerpts yesterday, and I had to share that with y'all. Here he goes.
Let me give you all a few diary entries released by the very mean anti-science Rand Paul, anti-science, whereas me, the Fauci, I am pro-science. I want to be clear. I am quoting now. Ready for this? Press is going wild with me. Front page in Washington Post yesterday. Op-ed by Maureen Dowd in New York Times today about me and my relationship with POTUS. Also a profile by Peter Nicholas on me in the Atlantic. Dear diary entry number 2. Big front page article about me appeared in the Washington Post. Very flattering. The situation with my national and international fame is explosive and really unimaginable. It is not hyperbole to say today I am the most famous and talked about person in the country and one of the most recognizable in the world. Countless profiles on me in multiple media. End quote.
Oh my gosh. Somebody's a little self-absorbed.
Now, was I far off in going? So Billy said that Bobby Sue said that.
That was exactly right. I mean,
I just was going through the channels. There wasn't much on yesterday and come across Jesse Waters. And the AI picture they had of him is like a teenager on their bed talking on their phone with their legs are up and they're crossed behind them. And they're like, so I was talking to. It was just hilarious. And that's what the wife does when she plays games after she's tired of sitting for a while. She'll go in there and do that. And she goes, were they looking at me when I was...
you can only imagine. But the spelling errors on this was outrageous for somebody. Didn't he go to Dartmouth or something? Didn't he pick
highly educated idiot, or I mean, individual. Sorry,
I forgot where he went to college. It may not have been Dartmouth, but he picked on Laura Ingraham for being a Dartmouth graduate because she's a Republican. She's got to be stupid. It's like, but it's like this. The spelling. I mean, some of this stuff is outrageous. Anyway, this was
I haven't seen any of that. So
yeah, the spelling is terrible. Terrible. This guy is just an absolute imbecile. But this was at the very, very beginning of this whole COVID fiasco. And of course, as Rand Paul mentioned, that he is partially responsible for because he granted that funding, which was taxpayer dollars, go into that gain of function research. Of course, it went by way of, and I can't remember the other guy's name, but he hid the money the way it went, but it went through another guy, and I can't remember the guy's name. But anyway, but he was so impressed with his fame and just self-absorbed through all this. All the while, we had people in nursing homes and hospitals dying, maybe from cancer or whatever, but they were kept away from their loved ones. You couldn't go to funerals. You couldn't do, I mean, anyway.
And he just thought that's cool. All I got to do is say something and they do what I say. This is so cool.
Yep. In April, he had one more line I wanted to read to you. It says, the press is still hot and heavy about me. Hot and heavy. Who says that? Anyway, multiple stories per day, directly or indirectly involving me. So it's clear that he thought in this diary, it was clear that he really believed privately that the lab leak theory was most likely, and that was clear. He also figured that the death rate is going to be much less than what the numbers he was spouting publicly. And he also admitted that he was the reason the schools got shut down, even though he's denied that several times.
Oh, I didn't tell anybody to shut down. Yes, you did.
Didn't shut down anything. He passed the buck more than, I mean, Teddy Roosevelt's rolling in his grave. All the bucks got passed. But anyway, there's a link to Rand Paul's official website on our Facebook page. And that's facebook.com/stayoffmylawn-podcast. Go in there, give us a like. And anyway, there's a link there. You can read the whole 1,100 pages if you are so inclined. I couldn't get through it, but it's anyway.
Just sad. Yeah, he was so enamored that I forget what her name was. That he was sexier than her. He was the sexiest man on. It's like, what? Boy, you got. I mean, if you look up slime ball in the dictionary, his picture is there. I swear.
And he bragged about all these people that were calling him.
Tyra Banks, that's who it was. He was sexier than Tyra Banks.
Oh my gosh, whatever.
Yeah, it's like, what?
Not even sexier than RuPaul, if you ask me. But you know, he bragged about that Barbara Streisand called him and asked him about the mRNA. Should I take the Moderna or the Pfizer? What do you think, Dr. Fauci? And he went through the whole thing, and it's like, goodness gracious. And then some of the other celebrities, all the left-wing whack job celebrities that just thought he was just fawned all over him. And again, and I'm going to give you my theory again, and I've talked about this previously. There's this thing that I've called myself. I've not heard anybody else say this. I did not steal this. This is my own personal theory, though, with the whole COVID thing, to me, because probably more than 50% of the people that I know that are college educated bought in 110% into this. But most of us, like Richard and I, that don't have a college degree, we were skeptical. At the very least, we were skeptical. We may had to have played along here and there, but I have this thing that I've called my lab coat / textbook theory. And all it is that if you've gone to school and somebody in a lab coat tells you something and you were taught that that's gospel truth, or if it's written down in a textbook somewhere, it's gospel truth. It's like Jesus Christ himself said it, for goodness sake. And it's like, we don't have that because we were not taught that. I mean, when I was in the military, I went through schooling just like everybody else did. But I mean, these were things that, well, you know, if you've got a better way of doing it, then we talk it through, we hashed it out. And that was interactive teaching. It was very, very good. I learned a lot through all that.
Problem solving, they don't encourage that anymore, and it's really sad. I grew up on a farm where problem solving is an everyday occurrence. Things happen that you weren't expecting, figure out how to fix it.
Or just stop and thinking for yourself, no matter what. I mean, there's still things on TV. I don't care if it's a Republican telling me. I mean, I'm not that partisan. I know people like to think that we're just so stinking partisan. We're really not. I'm very beholden to common sense, and that's what you and I have said that from the very beginning.
Yep.
Anyway, there's a radio personality, Wendy Bell. She said it extremely well about this whole COVID thing.
COVID showed us visually. There were true believers, right? People who would walk around scared to death. Stay away from me. Masks, right? Holsters with sanitizer. They had extra PPE in case anybody wanted it. They were totally freaked out, followed the rules. Oh my God, I got my COVID test. I got my shot. I got my shot. I got my shot. I got my booster. There's that. And then there are people who are like, kind of feels like the flu. Feels a little too forced. How is it that the psychology of some people, you can bring them along?
You know, and that's the thing. Flu cases were almost zero in 2021.
It was zero. There wasn't any flu. It just fell off the map. Why was that?
Yeah. Because that, what was that called? The PRC test or PCR test.
Yeah, something
You
like
can't
that.
decipher between the flu and COVID, I don't think, because I think everybody got COVID, nobody got the flu. And then I remember somebody on TV, and of course I asked myself this question because nobody else asked them this question, but it's like, well, flu cases are low because people are social distancing and wearing masks. Well, if that's the case, then why doesn't it work for the COVID thing? I mean, if people are truly social distancing and wearing masks, shouldn't that work for everything? I mean,
Yeah, it just was a joke. The county that I happen to live in, and being out in the country, it was just a little over 30% is all that got the shot.
really.
Yeah, our county people went in your ear.
I honestly don't know what our numbers are. But I know some people got one and got maybe one or two, but everybody that because I'll give them a break. Early on, we didn't know what we were dealing with. And I've said this many times, and I keep going back to COVID because there is so many lessons there. And I bring up COVID quite a bit on this show. I apologize if you're tired of it, but there's a lot of but there's a lot of lessons to be gleaned from all that. It really is. And that we don't trust people in lab coats or just because it's written down somewhere, first of all, or if a government employee or a government official or whatever tells you that this is the case, obviously that's not, he could be lying to you. Very high ranking officials. He was the highest paid federal employee in the country.
Yeah,
Fauci was.
he made more than the president.
Yeah.
I think he
I
was
mean,
over $500,000 a year or something, and
I
had
think
been
so.
doing it for. He did the same thing with the issue
AIDS.
back in the 70s, 60s, and 70s, whatever it was, with the AIDS stuff.
Yeah, in the 80s.
Made stuff up and lied about things in Congress, and it just kind of got pushed to the side, and no big deal. Well, he did
you and
it
I were
again. He
raising our,
did the same thing. I got away with it before. Why can't I do it this time?
I was going to say you and I were raising our families in the 90s, but Clay and Buck, when I was listening to them yesterday with the whole Fauci thing, they were saying when they were in college, I think it was in the early 90s, that they actually had to go and get a blood test every year to make sure they didn't have AIDS. It was a thing. Of course, that was news to me. I had no idea that was a thing because back when I was in the military, they didn't do that. But I mean, maybe later on that was a thing. If you know, if that was something, if you were in the military back in the 90s, email us, soml@duck.com, because I want to hear your story, because if they did that there, because Clay Travis went to George Washington University and Buck Sexton went to someplace up in New York City. But he said every year they'd go in and they'd do a blood test, and they both simultaneously asked the woman that was drawing their blood, "Has anybody ever come back positive?" They said, "We have not had one positive test since we started this." I mean, it's like, but Fauci, the whole thing was with him, he tried to scare everybody.
Yeah.
It's like, if you were just it had nothing to do with lifestyle. If you weren't a drug user, if you didn't have certain lifestyle choices or whatever,
Proclivities.
that would put you in a different category of risk. I mean, in reality, it just does. And everybody understands that today. But back then, and I think he understood it then too, but it wasn't politically correct or whatever.
Well, he did the same thing with COVID. He was
Mhm.
sought after all over the world, and what he said is what the rest of them all did. And it's,
Everybody followed.
you had states like Florida where they went, yeah, no, we're not shutting nothing down. Where Idaho, yeah, for a couple 3 weeks, the restaurants you had to go, they were trying to supported a local one by making an order over the phone and then picking it up at the curb. And, they were happy that somebody was there to buy something and did some of that stuff. But, and then they went, yeah, this is stupid. And it didn't last very long. Thank goodness, because it didn't put like Oregon and Washington and California, where they put so many little small businesses out of business because of this clown's recommendations.
I know we're here in Georgia, we were one of the first states to open up anything. And it's like, of course, Governor Kemp got all kinds of flack over it. And, but, I mean, it made common sense. Governor Kemp, say what you will about him, he's got common sense. And I like that about him. Hopefully we don't swing the other way, but Georgia, you just don't know. Georgia has broken my heart too many times for me to have any confidence in her at all. But
Well, you got one big, huge, major city in your state that rules everything. Kind of like Oregon, where you have Portland rules everything.
yep, absolutely.
Well, the People's Republic of Eugene is kind of an issue as well, but that's the Birkenstock capital of the world. That's where they have them. That's where they're from. That's where the store is.
And luckily, the initials would be PPE, which is interesting. Anyway, well, we've beaten that dead horse, but I mean,
Yeah.
just to know it. And one last thing is, I was talking to my daughter-in-law. I happened to see her this morning, and it's like, and she mentioned that he was even behind the Ebola thing back in the 2000s, where it was like everybody was freaked out about it. And it's just this whole. I think they've cried wolf so many times over all this, that the sky is falling, or whatever metaphor you want to use. That I think that if there really truly is something big that comes down the line, I'm not going to believe it. I'm going to be one of those dead people in the street.
What was the most recent thing they tried to do with the mouse droppings, whatever, on a ship? And it's like, oh, they were trying to get him, and everybody went, yeah, you fooled me twice. Shame on me. No. And people
It
just
went away
ignored
so
it.
fast. I don't remember, but
It came and they were pushing that as, oh, that's the no. And everybody went, no.
No, we're not doing it, because it was about 3 weeks in the news cycle. They were hammering it. And all of a sudden it's like,
just like they did with COVID. And
Mhm.
unfortunately, people went, yeah, it's not that big a deal.
And I still see, and I don't know in your area, but I still see once in a while people wearing masks out in public, in the grocery store or whatever. I'm like,
Oh, saw a ton of them in Hawaii. Lefty Hawaii, man, they were wearing masks everywhere. It's like, what is wrong with you people?
all I think of is that.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got to take a break, man. We spent a lot of time on
Jeez,
that.
we barely got started.
But it was worth it. It was worth it. I mean, I think those are things we needed to talk about.
Yeah.
But when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about some craziness in our country, in Oregon, again, out in your neck of the woods. And
That's right.
that'll be fun. That'll be fun. So hang in there. We'll be right back.
The Stay Off My Lawn podcast will be right back.
Bud Light presents Real Men of Genius.
Real men of genius.
Today we salute you, Mr. Silent Killer Gas Passer.
Mr. Silent Killer Gas Passer.
Last night you had the enchilada combo platter. This morning, the 3-cheese omelet with broccoli. This afternoon, you're a ticking time bomb. Because of you, a simple elevator ride is suddenly a 42-floor plummet into the very bowels of hell.
You take my breath away.
Who did it? Who cares? Sweet mercy, please just someone light a match.
Sweet, sweet mercy.
So crack open an ice-cold Bud Light, oh ninja of the nasty. And while you're at it, crack open a window.
Mr. Silent Killer Gas Passer.
Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
That young lady was 17-year-old Ruby Lee. She was the runner-up of The Voice on season 24.
That's why your voice sounded familiar.
Yeah, she's 17 years old. Incredible, incredible. That was, of course, at a Tennessee Titans game I think it was last year. So, but we wanted to share that. I wanted to play a Star Spangled Banner every week for the month of July. We'll just go back to our regularly scheduled bumper music after this, but anyway, that was really, really good. I found that recently, and I thought we need to play that one.
Yeah, we found some really, really good ones to play. There were so many; it was kind of hard to pick and choose and find ones that were the Harmony Group, and it just was really good. And Huey Lewis and the News, that was an awesome one.
Incredible. And of course, Huey's got the best voice. And I hate that he's kind of lost his hearing and he can't really sing anymore. And it's like, it's sad because they were one of the good ones. They played good rock and roll music, and they had the harmonies and the way they did things. It was incredible. But they don't make singing groups like that much anymore, I don't think. Anyway, it's time to look at the craziness of our country. Let me see if I can find that here, because there is craziness. Yeah, and this is the craziness of our country is a new segment called.
It's the head-scratching story of the week.
So it's a head-scratching story of the week. A member of the state panel advising the director of Oregon's Health Authority, or the OHA, on best practices and policies in mental health. Get this, mental health. There's a person on that advisory panel that identifies as a turtle. They, them, turtle.
On the panel. For mental health.
This person's name is J.D. Holt. I don't even know if this is a male or a female, honestly. I have no idea in reality. But J.D. Holt also goes by the name of J.D. Terrapin on his or her Facebook page, whatever that is, and is one of roughly 24 consumers on the OHA's Consumer Advisory Council, or the OCAC. The council, established by administrative statute, is appointed by OHA Director Dr. Sejal Hathi and was appointed by the governor, Tina Kotek, which is, surprise, surprise, a Democrat.
Yeah, the mail-in ballot thing and getting rid of that, they're in a giant state of panic in Oregon because you can't cheat without the mail-in ballot.
Incredible. And that's I don't understand why they went there anyway. I mean, they've been doing that for a while in Oregon, right? I mean, that's been a couple of decades.
Doing it when we lived there over 30 years ago. I thought, oh, well, this is kind of convenient. Because I'm not someone that's going to try and screw with the system. Oh, no, they have ways of doing it. Lots of ways.
I heard Senator John Kennedy the other day, not Mr. Chappaquiddick, but John Kennedy was talking about that. He wants to go back to paper ballots and have it one day that we vote. But, and I think instead of having a voting month, which, we have like 2 weeks here in Georgia. I think that's way too long.
That's too much.
Maybe give people a 2 or 3 day window. I think we can maybe strike a little bit of a compromise there. I think a 2 to 3 day window, because in my opinion, look, anything could happen on the way to go vote. Your kid could get sick. You could have a car accident. You could have flat tire. Multiple things can happen on voting day.
Or you were traveling and you're not going to be able to get back because maybe a flight got canceled. Who knows what happens? But you can that you were going to stay over. You were visiting an elderly loved one like myself, and the elderly loved one was because they were out in the smoke too much. You might be there longer, so you need to get.
I can't think of an elderly person that I like that's out in the smoke very much. I mean, Would you be considered elderly now? When do you get to be elderly is what I want to know. I was asking my wife that the
Well,
other day.
I've
Are
always
we there?
considered something when you hit 75 is official antique status.
Okay.
So I don't know. That's just me.
I think as soon as you, and going back to the commercial we just played, as soon as there's dust that comes out of those gas passing moments, maybe that's when you're considered.
Oh God, I don't know how that singer, Mr.
How he
Simon.
got through that, I have no idea. It couldn't have been the first take. It couldn't have been. No way.
Oh, Lordy.
But anyway, this JD Terrapin, he said at his first virtual OCAC meeting, he said, "Hello, everybody. It's JD. I use they, them, and turtle for my pronouns." Oh my goodness gracious! So this is where we are in America today. So it's wonderful. We just got to leave that alone, I guess. I don't know what that means to be a turtle.
I'm not taking advice from anybody that's going and trying to give it on a panel that identifies as a turtle. Seriously?
I suppose it takes one to know one. I mean, for you to understand, the mental health problems of your state, maybe if you're suffering severely from a mental health crisis yourself, maybe that helps. I don't know. That's a mental health problem if you have to.
Yeah, nothing but. And most people are not, as it were, called playing along anymore. It's like, no, we're not doing that.
I would hope not. I would hope that we're going to get out of this madness here eventually. Speaking of madness, there was a news story last week where a guy tried to set fire to a federal immigration court building in New York City. And that story seemed to go away very, very quickly. I mean, as we heard about it and it was gone. We never heard about the guy. We never heard about motivation. We never heard about anything. Glenn Beck, however, gave us some as he normally does.
The suspect of the terror arson attack on the federal immigration court building in Manhattan has been identified now. He's a 43-year-old guy, Andrew John Arapaga, Army veteran. Officials say he came armed with 2 axes, a hammer, a machete, and 3 knives. He went and he poured gasoline all over the building. It's a stone building, so he didn't bring a lot of brains with him. Well, they catch him pretty quickly. They take him down, and he was carrying anti-ICE literature. He yelled anti-ICE statements as he was being arrested, and he is a long-time, this is going to come as a surprise to you, long-time leftist climate change activist. He has also participated in pro-Palestinian marches and causes. Voter registration show that he has previously been registered as a Democrat and also with the Working Families Party, which is kind of a socialist group. He maintains fetish accounts online where he expresses interest in defecation and bondage adult content creators. Apparently has fantasized about being turned on by touching his future daughter in one Instagram post.
Oh my gosh. I mean, this is why the media left it alone. I mean, because of it goes against their agenda. Just incredible.
No, I don't think it does. He is their agenda. I mean, you've got all this stuff from these uber lefties that are, let's just say, not quite right between the ears. And so they get them all riled up, and then they go out and do this stupid stuff. And the news media goes, "Oh, it's not us. Oh, wait, it was. Jane, was that you over there making those kind of?" No, yes, it was you.
Again, the lefties seem to be more inclined, because if Chuck Schumer says something or Maxine Waters says, when you see him in a restaurant, get in their face, it's like.
Speaking of which, she's nowhere been had, and Cory Booker apparently has been voting for her. That's against the law. You can't do that on the floor of the House.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, but that just came out yesterday. His Patukas is in big trouble. Nobody has seen Maxine in like 2 to 3 weeks. She's just kind of like Mitch McConnell. We're going to have to get a medical thing from you, something, but you are done, because somebody was apparently voting for him as well.
Yeah, you can't have a proxy vote. Yeah, they've tried to do the same thing with him.
Yep.
It's incredible. Incredible. In case you don't believe news stories, like I don't, actually we've reported here on what the the agenda is of the Democratic Socialists of America. We've just last week. But Shannon Bream from Fox News interviewed Megan Romer. Megan Romer is the co-chair from the DSA and got the answer straight from the horse's mouth.
Yeah, DSA, Democratic Socialist of America, but it's Democratic. No, it's not. You're just flat commies. Get over it.
Exactly. I think they called the official name of North Korea has the word Democratic in it. So yeah, okay. Anyway, here's that interview.
We're going to put up on the screen a few of the things that are part of your platform, and I want to ask you, just give me sort of a true or false on these. Abolish the Senate.
True.
Okay. Replace the presidency and Supreme Court as we now know them.
Yep.
Abolish ICE.
Absolutely.
Abolish borders and give amnesty to anyone currently in the U.S. illegally.
As a long-term plan, yep.
Defund the Pentagon.
Absolutely.
Abolish prisons, at least in large part.
Yeah, again, that as part of a long-term program, yeah.
Okay, so no prisons. Government or public ownership of most large corporations.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you've seen the video, apparently she's not for abolishing pizza or Oreos.
Yeah, there's she hasn't missed a meal or 2 or 12.
Yeah, I think she's doing just fine.
Yeah, and it's like she just kept asking her, going, well, she was honest about it. I mean, they're not even trying to hide what the BS they're trying to do, and if you vote for that, you're a putz. Geez,
Yeah.
you had no education, so you didn't have any education on how socialism works. Look it up. It is indirect. It is socialism, fascism, communism. They're all bleep, bleep, bleep. It's the same version of this. It's a different version of the same thing. Call it what you want. It has never, ever, ever, and won't ever work anywhere.
And you know, I posted a picture of Karl Marx yesterday, and it was a big circular thing. It's like, you know, implement socialism. People starve, people die. Say it wasn't a true version of socialism, and then start the cycle all over again. And I'm like, that's exactly what happens. It's like since the Bolshevik Revolution, we have seen the same thing over and over and over. And the sheep.
What is it? Upwards of 100 million people have been killed in the name of socialism, fascism, and communism. So,
Stalin, Lenin, Pol Pot, Mao Zedong, yeah, all of them.
Yeah, they just wipe people out.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, doesn't work. Oh, they're making too much money. No, they're not. You know, am I somebody who wanted to sacrifice like Elon did, sleep in his office and work 24 hours a day, sometimes 3 days in a row? He would work 36 hours straight. It's like, well, that's not 3 days in a row, 72. It's like, no, that's not something I want to do. And I say good for him, because he now employs over 160,000 people. He's getting everything he's earned. So these people that go, nobody should have. Really, what have you done? Bernie hasn't done crap.
Employing all those people.
Nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Employing all those people is contributing to the economy. I mean, so it's not like
tons of taxes are getting from what he's doing.
And he's paying his own taxes. And he's, you know, I mean, it's class warfare. And we've seen this since, the Reagan administration. You know, the left is just always like, because somebody's rich is why you're having trouble. And it has nothing to do with somebody being rich. There's not a finite amount of money. If you are willing to work hard, and like you said, sleep in your office and work 24/7, I mean, you can probably, you won't make Elon Musk money, but I mean, you'll do well. I mean, I worked 6 days a week, pretty much every week for 25 years. And it was overnight shift, and it's like, and you ran your truck route 12 hours a day in all kinds of weather. I mean, you have to be willing to put in the work in order to take care of your family. And that's, you know, I've told this story to my son 100 times.
And these lazy, I started to say bad word, individuals, even an acronym is a bad SOB is a, yeah. Anyway, they're all they want to do is sit around and complain. Get a job. That's how you're going to feed your family. Well, they're going to cut off my food stamps. They're going to cut off my Medicaid. Well, what are you doing? Oh, wait, you have a $30,000 automobile and they cut off your Medicaid. Why would that be?
Yeah.
Oy.
and I have no patience or care for people like that. If
Nope.
they're on the government teat, just sucking everything dry. I mean, I just don't. I would have done almost anything to not have been in that situation. And I know a lot of good people that have been in that situation, but it's always temporary because they're good people, because they didn't
I've
want to live
struggled.
that
I've
life.
had a couple of times where I've had to use things for some help to get my family through stuff. We weren't buying junk food. We weren't buying soda pop. It was, what are we going to have so that we can have a healthy meal until we can get rolling again?
But
So
people love to get things given to them, and
oh,
it's like if you can,
I
and I knew
hated
this
it. I
guy.
didn't feel good about it. It
No,
really
of course
bugged
not.
me.
I wouldn't have either. And that's what I'm saying. Fortunately, I haven't been in that situation. But I mean, if I did, I mean, it would have taken, I would have had to flush all my pride to go do it. And I'm sure that's how you felt too.
It was not easy to go deal with. Fortunately, it was a very, very short period of time, but man, you got to do
And,
what you got to do sometimes,
but that's
whether
what
you
good
want
people
to or
do.
not.
If I'm going to take the help, it's going to be temporary. I remember 20 something years ago, a lefty friend of mine that decided they wanted to get, I think it was IVF for him and his wife. And this guy made probably $120,000 a year 20 years ago. And he put out a GoFundMe type thing to help pay for he
I
got
don't want it to come out of my budget. You people need to
yeah,
have what?
he got a $25 donation. That was all he had. He had to give it back because he didn't meet his goal. I'm like, well, it does that not, hopefully that taught him something, because he doesn't talk
I
to me
doubt it.
anymore because we don't agree on things. I'd still talk to him.
Yeah.
Craig, if you're still out there, I'd still talk to you. But I mean, but apparently you're still mad at me for being a conservative. Okay. Um, if I had feelings, maybe they'd be hurt, maybe not. Anyway, Governor of New Jersey, Mikey Sherrill, has been called out previously about things. One thing was she made a crap ton of money covertly while being a public servant. She was actually called out on the Breakfast Club with Charlemagne the God. It's like, you've got like $7 million in this account. What's that about? She goes, do I?
Oh, you weren't
like,
supposed to find that one. Oops.
I'd have to go look. It's like, look, if you got $7 million, if you're not sure you have $7 million, come on now. Nobody's buying that. Nobody's buying that. Anyway, she is just recently in the middle of some hot water with some voter fraud in her state. And of course, the left-wing talking point is, it doesn't happen. It doesn't. There's already rules on the books for that. Anyway, the Lori Rice, the director of the Border Security and Immigration Center at the Heritage Foundation, broke this story wide open and gave us some details.
New Jersey Governor Sherrill admitted that at least 6,600 non-citizens were registered to vote. She also admitted that of that group, at least 400 did in fact vote. And the problem with them being on the voter rolls, even if they don't vote, is that they generate ballots on their behalf. And someone on the left will gladly harvest those ballots and submit them as a vote. It could be in a drop box or another way. Yeah, all of this shows why we need Save America Act, which would do two things. One, when you register to vote, it would require that you prove you are a U.S. citizen and shut down a lot of these loopholes and exploitation. And then the second part is when you do, in fact, vote, prove your identity. Show driver's license or other identity form to prove that you are who you say you are.
Yeah, didn't you say that we were talking off the air? We were talking at the beginning of the show, and in Oregon they've been doing the mail-in voting for like.
They were doing mail-in voting when we lived there 30 years ago, and I had thought at the time, oh, this is kind of cool and convenient because working 12-hour shifts, days, whatever. It's sometimes hard to. I would just barely get to the polls in time, and it's like, oh, well, this is different. They sent it. Okay, you mark your ballots, blah, 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 put it back in the mail and send it back. It never occurred to me to do the stuff that the Dems are doing. Never, not once. And this stuff in New Jersey where illegal aliens, our favorite illegal alien, oh, I just hate it when I can't vote in New Jersey anymore. Oh,
I mailed in my ballot and nothing happened. I don't understand. Yeah.
Yeah, we were doing that off the air too. We were laughing. If you laughed, yay. If you didn't, oh well.
Look up Marvin the Martian. Go on. Anyway, but in New Jersey, I just found out that, and maybe it's the same way in other blue states, that when you, especially if you're an illegal alien, maybe when you go get a driver's license, they automatically register you to vote. So that's how a lot of those 6,600 people got registered, because they just got a driver's license. First of all, why are you getting a driver's license if you're an illegal anyway?
Yeah.
That one I don't get. Shouldn't
And
happen.
where are most of all these illegal driver's licenses popping up from? Oh, you got California, Oregon, Washington, all of the blue, Illinois, New Jersey. Yeah, they're all coming from what color are those states again?
And in California, I know we all saw the pictures where these apartment complexes where it's like the mail-in ballots, they just mail them out. If you don't even have to request it. Here in Georgia and in North Carolina and in Florida, where I've lived previously, you have to request a mail-in ballot, and you have to have a reason, a good reason. So I mean, they just mail them out.
I got another worthless piece of information. I was watching Benny Johnson, and he said his first house that they bought was kind of in the hood, was not the best, but hey, it was our house. It was our first one in D.C., and we got to buy it. He said, and then it came time to vote, and he got a stack of ballots like this. I'm not kidding, like this, that came in the mail with anybody who had ever lived at that address showed up at his deal. He goes, well, I just threw them away, but if somebody would have got to my mailbox before I did, they would have used those to vote with.
And I'm sure in some states that's not an anecdotal story. That happens quite often.
Yep, New York, same thing. I've heard of it being, but he said this was a lot older house, and he said, I'm not kidding you. It was huge. A stack of everybody who's ever lived there kept coming to his house. He must have had 30, 40 ballots.
Incredible. Speaking of the election process, they moved around the Democratic primaries, making South Carolina first, at least in the Democratic primaries anyway. I don't think the Republicans got moved, but they're making South Carolina first, which polls show is going to be dominated by Kamala because of the demographics of South Carolina. New Hampshire primary, according to polling, will be dominated by our favorite bartender, AOC. Because her and Bernie are like this, And giving credit to where credit is due, Chris Cuomo, being the broke clock that's twice a day, had a hot take on her candidacy, and here's what he had to say.
AOC has done nothing meaningful in Congress. She's done it all on social media. And she's one of your leading names in who's going to be president. Do you not get this concept of 80-20? She's an 80-20 loser all day long. Why? She is clearly catering to a minority. She's her own version of MAGA. She's looking for an outraged enclave. She's not about the majority. She's not about consensus. She's not about solutions. She wants government to give you everything. She's a socialist in a capitalist society. What are you thinking?
Yeah, nobody's thinking. I mean, I think that's the bottom line.
And the ones who are going, we need to do the democratic socialism. They've all got nice houses, nice cars, all this stuff, and they've got
three of them,
phones, $1,500 phone, and all this kind of stuff. And then it's like, we need to go to socialism. Nobody will have any of those things.
It's the oligarchs. They got all the money. Socialism there,
Well, kind of like the people who want to do away with oil. Oh, we shouldn't have any oil because they think it only goes in cars. It's only for gas. So I forget who it was. It might even have been Brandon, but it was asking, what are your glasses made out of? Where did that come from? Oh, well, they're plastic. Yeah, that's made with oil. Same thing with your lenses. You have your phone? She goes, yeah, I have my phone with me. He goes, where do you think all the plastic in that came from? Oh, that's from oil too. And all of a sudden she's just going, I never thought about all that.
The lenses, the frames, your
the clothes, are they 65% polyester and 35% cotton? Oh, that's right. That's all made from oil as well. Do you not do any research before you go in front of Congress, you
That's the
morons?
thing. It's like people go in front of Congress like they're going in front of the person at Taco Bell. Then nobody's prepared.
Well, Taco Bell doesn't prepare you sometimes either. And now it's hard to tell, is it Taco Bell run to the can, or is it?
That's the thing. Both of them will give you explosive diarrhea, the Congress and Taco Bell. But
yeah, there you go. Oh, goodness.
Oh, goodness. We need a palate cleanser.
Oh, please.
Here's Pappy G, one of our favorite people on the planet right now. Another story of Americana from our favorite West Texas veteran. Here he is.
It's July 20th, 1969. In Houston, Texas, a room full of engineers in white shirts and thin ties are sitting at their consoles, coffee gone cold, pencils wore down to nothing, and not breathing. 240,000 miles away, a spindly little spacecraft the size of a garden shed is dropping toward the surface of the moon. Nobody had ever done this before. Nobody had even knew for certain what the lunar surface would do when something landed on it. There were serious scientists who believed the moon was covered in a layer of fine dust so deep the lander and the men inside it would just simply sink and disappear. But America had made a promise. 8 years earlier, a young president stood before Congress and said we would go to the moon before the decade was out, not because it was easy, specifically because it was hard. And this room full of Texans in Houston was going to make good on that promise or burn every last ounce of themselves trying. The altimeter was counting down. The fuel runs low. Alarms are firing in the cabin that nobody had ever seen before. Flight controller Gene Krantz, a man who irons his own shirts and once told his team that failure is not an option, makes the call to continue the descent, and then silence. A voice crackles 240,000 miles of empty space. Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. In that room in Houston, grown men wept. Hands shook. Men who had not slept in days dropped their faces into their palms and let it all out at once. Neil Armstrong stepped onto the lunar surface and spoke words the whole world heard. The first word spoke from the surface of another world was Houston. But back in that room in Houston, nobody was thinking about history. They were thinking about getting those two men home. And they did. I don't know about you, but that still gets me every time. Happy 250th, America. Not bad for 250 years.
Looking pretty good.
Right. What's that?
I said America's looking pretty good for 250. So
yeah, it's still just a young whippersnapper.
Yeah, he's doing really good. I mean, I just love his. We were talking about that off the air. I love his delivery. So
everything is just going just fine. We're up there, and they never said they was going to do her, but they did it anyway. Yeah, I was 8 days from being 13 at the time, and you were just out of diapers.
No, I had just turned 5.
Oh, that's what I said. You were just out of. No.
Why it didn't work? No, I got out of diapers at 8. So yeah. And then my favorite 3 years was 3rd grade. So we it all came together though eventually.
I love all the stuff this country has done, not because the government said we're going to do it or you need to do that. It's people. It employed a lot of folks, and everybody was behind it. It was a giant team of folks to get things done. I look at getting Apollo 13 back as a bit more of a feat that they were able to accomplish because they were up there in space and there wasn't anybody to come rescue you. You're either coming back or you ain't. So
and that's a great movie.
The movie did a really good job of following true what really happened and didn't really embellish it too much. It didn't need embellishing. It was, man, you'd come home from school and get that TV on. What's happening again? What's going on now? So
it was a 19-inch black and white too. I mean, that was because I remember seeing the moon landing. It was on black and white TV.
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting, and I just love the Americana stuff. It does kind of like with all the craziness going on, it does kind of like center you a little bit better. And, give us a little more perspective.
And I appreciate your birthday shout out today, sir. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely, sir. Absolutely. We hope you enjoy your next year. And And we hope you enjoy spending the next year with us. We're going to continue on. We're in 130 countries. We're going to keep going. If you have any birthday wishes for Richard, SOML@duck.com, or call us at 706-383-9003. And all that stuff is on our website, staffmylon.us.
It's all right down underneath where we're sitting here.
It's all below my feet over here. So, we hope you were somewhat informed and had fun like we did. Don't forget you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, iHeart, Amazon Smart Speaker, Rumble, or wherever you get podcasts.
And if you can't remember where to go forever get your podcast, just go to our good old website of stayoffmylawn.us for all our past and present episodes.
Did you say forever get your podcast? Said the word forever. Forever seems like a long time. I got stuff to do tomorrow.
I looked at one of our first couple. Oh, Lordy, that was sad.
Yeah.
That was not a good thing to look at.
Don't do that. Don't do that. No. Go sleep tonight. Don't do that. So we'll see you next week, folks. Thanks for tuning in.
Toodles, and thanks again for telling a friend about us. We've been doing a lot of growing lately, and it's because of you folks, and we appreciate each and every one of you. And we hope to see you again next week.
Bye.
Toodles. Well, we had fun, and hope you did too. The opinions heard here today are not those of anyone other than Mike and Richard. If it made you laugh, or go, or even, then we've done our job. Sort of. Well, mostly anyway. And if we made you think about things in a common sense manner, we welcome you to the club. And if it didn't, then just stay off my lawn. See you next time.